Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another Our Town Community Show. Thanks for tuning in. Super excited to have my friend, Chef Hank, with us today. We've been talking stories before the show, but my friend, Chef Hank, how you doing, sir?
Doing well. Thanks for having me here today.
Oh, it's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure. Well, we got 15 minutes, so we got to jump right in. So for those of the people, and this could be watched anywhere, that don't know you, just tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Chef Hank. Run an organization called Lettum Eat. It's a nonprofit organization. We do food insecurity. Have an extensive background in the restaurant, food and beverage industry. And, you know, I got this profound message from God to divert those attentions in the industry and do something more along His calling.
So you guys, tell me more specifically. So give me an example of something you might do. You go in, are you making food and then helping is it the homeless and the hungry? Is that both?
Well, I mean, food insecurity is basically the term that we try to address these days. And the whole thing about us is being mobile. Our mission is mobile food provisions, prepared with care and served with compassion to those in need. So basically the idea was to take this concept of taking food provisions, food meals, what we do professionally as chefs, and taking them to the areas that they're most needed.
All right, so in backing up, so you were a chef in a different sector, and then you brought that in to the servant sector. Make sure I thought I had it right. Make sure I got that. So how important, without saying, is faith, and whatever you feel like saying in terms of your outreach and what you want to do, and in terms of who makes what it makes up of Hank.
Right. I mean, it's incredibly important. I mean, we all have a journey in life, and we grow up, and whatever our path is, we look back someday and wonder, hey, why did we take this path? What are we doing? And it's just been a profound experience for me to understand. First of all, I chose the restaurant industry because I wanted a path of something that I enjoyed doing, which was food. And I had a family, and I wanted to raise my family and not worry about what I did for a living, but get into some things that I enjoyed. And after time, we all get a little older, and we don't have the same legs as we did,
or know how to turn off our phones.
Right, exactly. So we try to figure out a way to okay, what's next for us?
Right.
And I've been fortunate enough to just have a true experience with developing a relationship with God that, I mean, He's lit a path for me and truly shown me all the things that I've done, all the things good or bad that I've been through. These are things that I'm literally able to apply now to be His hands and feet and serve those in our communities.
Well, and that's the thing I think with this show is people feel oftentimes that when they talk about their faith, they're talking about people judging them and throwing a Bible verse at them. I'm trying to use that. And I feel that our past, if we know from it correctly, has helped. God's helped prepare us for our future. So I didn't know that I'd be sitting here doing this or doing the media things I do, but I feel I was prepared for the moment,
right?
And have taken it very seriously. So, how about family and friends, Chef Hank? How important are those bedrocks to you?
Well, I mean, we as a family lived a modest life. My parents are fortunately still with me, so they're great influences in my life. But we often talk about legacy. What are we leaving behind for our kids? And most of the time in society, we think about legacy being monetary, being money.
Right.
And for me, it's about character. It's about what am I putting good into society that my children or others that I've mentored throughout my career can look at and say, yeah, I know that guy. I mean, his character is high volume, and he really means what he's doing. And that's a big thing for me now. I'm probably never going to be rich according to whatever that society standard is, but the deeds and the heart in which, we go about our business with Lettum Eat doing what we do, more valuable than anything that I could ever imagine.
And what's funny is I've seen some people that, I just only knows how much earthly dollars they have in their savings account that are miserable people. I mean, what I mean by miserable, they don't let they're enjoying 1 second of their life, and but counting their money. And I've never been one to I grind it out each day. But I'm with you. What I leave behind for my 3 daughters and my wife, and I take all these opportunities very seriously in terms of trying to make a difference, because that word legacy, I think it's far bigger than money. I think it's what's going to be your grandkids one day, or great-grandkids are going to say, here's what the stories that were told, right?
Yep.
And that goes so far beyond $1 in the bank.
Yep, absolutely.
What do you feel, you've been, boots on the ground for 24 months, especially during this pandemic, and saying that it looks like we're kind of coming out the other side, but mental fitness, with you see people, spiritual fitness, we always want to think of physical fitness, but there's some people that you're seeing struggling more than others, because I see some people that even though they can go back out and do things again, they're kind of saying, I don't feel comfortable with that yet. What are you seeing out there?
Things are different, and I feel like God has shown us something about us and the way we carry ourselves in society. A lot of us have the same experiences about how, God brought my entire family back in the house again. And, my adult children, daughters are all college age, and my son, so everybody's there.
Yeah.
That takes some getting used to.
Yeah.
We got used to it.
Right.
Everything is cool, but now it's time to, for everybody to kind of be in their own way. But out there, a part of our ministry and mission, again, is about serving that element with compassion. We know those images look like in those historic situations of dire need, and we want people to feel good about what's going on. And when they come to us, that's why we have the whole food truck concept.
So in that, we'll go a little deeper there. So you're going to them, right? And we're in Metro Atlanta. So are you covering all of Metro Atlanta, or do you go to? I know you go to a lot of different places. We're
based in Gwinnett, the southern end. A lot of our services are down there, so we know that that's a particular area of need. But we go wherever the need is. Of course, things cost money. Our organization has to be funded in regards to what we need. So whenever we can, that was a big thing about how God led me into this. It was just go do. So wherever you knew it was a need, that's where we would go. We would deliver meals. We would partner with other churches in areas, and we would send meals to them, and they would distribute the meals. Now, like I said, that we have the food truck, we go into downtown with the food truck, and we serve hot meals. So that way you have people, it looks like a festival atmosphere. It's not like I'm going into a soup kitchen and just everybody's lined up. We play music, we engage and love on people, and they come to the window and we serve them just like they'd be served if they were at a downtown festival or something.
And that's what I was trying to say. So, all right, our mutual friend Laura Drake with Southeast Gwinnett. Now, so how does that interplay with what you might do? Would you end up taking some of that food? I'm just trying to think for the average person, and then using it and going and serving?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned my good friend Laura Drake.
You two are the best.
She's been tremendous for just me in general and serving, and a great mentor for me in this line of work that God has led me to. But we have the same type of operation in regards to a partnership with the Atlanta Community Food Bank.
Okay.
So we get resources that way. One of our core values is eliminating food waste. So we know that prior to the pandemic, restaurants, grocery stores, they just throw this stuff out.
Yeah.
And I've worked in these industries where no, we're not going to give it away. We have to because we're worried about somebody taking it and doing something with it. Well, we had to have a pandemic for people to realize that, man, you cannot throw this stuff away.
And people need
because people need it.
Yes.
So we've been able to tie into a lot of different organizations and partners that have been just instrumental in getting us what we need to fit our core model, which is the meal program. So, we have the prepackaged meals with a vegetable, starch, protein, and bread in them. So we just try to put those components together based on that, getting the rice and the potatoes and where we're getting the vegetables from.
So you're really looking at still feeding nutritionally.
Yep. We definitely try to take care of all those components nutritionally. And then also, like I say, having a partnership with the Atlanta Community Food Bank, which has been tremendous for us. Now we can add a supplemental pantry distribution also. So we do the same things that Laura and some of the other co-ops do in the area, and just making sure they got the canned goods, the cereals, and things of that nature, in addition to the meals.
Yeah, I was familiar, probably 15 years ago, worked on one of the boards of Atlanta Community Food Bank, and just seeing the mammoth operation, and then it took me a while to understand how all it worked. You know, because I was thinking, okay, people well, not necessarily. They were out sending food to these places, and I got to firsthand experience a little bit what you're talking about grocery waste or grocery store waste or restaurant waste. So have you seen a difference, especially since restaurants, obviously you come from that, were hit probably some of the hardest during the last 24 months. Have they had more of an open mind on, giving away or helping with food since the pandemic?
There are a lot of organizations that's come about to help them with that, because it's a lot of work to just say, from a restaurant standpoint, how are we going to distribute our leftovers, something like that. We want to maintain safety in everything we do. So from our perspective, our organization, we use professional chefs because we want to make sure we maintain the safety integrity of everything that we're operating with. But restaurants in general have become a little bit, but they're still in a little struggle now. Trying to get those required numbers in order to make those margins.
Well, so is this something, I don't know, from your life? So at the end of the day, just pick anything. Restaurant ABC, they have whatever meat, whatever this, that. Is that what was typically your plan? They just throw it out at the end of the day? And it maybe was 7% of the food left for the day, but was that the standard operating for a lot of companies?
Mostly quality. It's like the stuff wasn't bad. It was just, this is our standard. Then they try to meet those standards and not overproduce. So then now all of a sudden they got a system with, this is how much we're buying, this is what our food cost margins are and things like that. So they were able to streamline what they were doing, in addition to trying to make sure that they had enough but not had too much, so they didn't have waste. But you're always going to have waste in those situations. And because the bottom kind of fell out with COVID so rapidly and no one knew how to adjust, then there was a big period of time in there where you had so much of a surplus of food that it needed to go somewhere. And the government stepped in, some of the schools stepped in, and everybody kind of stepped up to the plate to make sure it got where it needed to go.
Well, food is, well, for me anyway, is where the heart is. And it does maybe not do that so much.
Yeah.
But, all right, we got a couple of minutes left. So tell me something you're really looking for, something fun you're looking forward to in 2022, any part of your life.
Really just getting out there and continuing to love on people. I want to keep telling this story about how God has led me to this path, and that it's not work anymore. It's just truly a journey of all these things you've learned. There's been some tough times in the restaurant industry that now are just the most profound lessons that's going to enable me to go even further in what we're doing. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about getting volunteers and other people involved. And just the future of what this is. I always say it doesn't matter who does this as long as it gets done. So Lettum Eat is a model for not just us to hoard over, but we want churches all over the country and anybody else to know that this is possible. You just have to have faith and go and just do the work.
Well, maybe this has been your boots on the ground, and you can help empower other people who may not know where to start. And that's what I see with you doing not you, your whole team, everybody, just an amazing job at meeting people where they are and following God's call in your life, because it's sometimes difficult to know. And you seem pretty crystal clear on it, but it's, I want to tell you, just as a person that watches, it's people like you and Laura, whatever, I hold in the highest regard for how you live your life. That legacy is powerful.
Yeah.
So, final thing, future, any final words that, like, there's a person out there listening, we got like 1 minute left, but they're listening, they're down, maybe they're not hungry, but they've been kind of alone for 24 months. What might you say to that person right now listening, just to give them a little encouragement?
You're not alone. You're not alone. It's our job as people, not businesses, not corporations, not churches. It's our job as people to look after one another. That's what God calls us to do. That's what I'm proud to be doing, and also leading other people and young people to doing also, to just understand that it is definitely the best part of life is giving of yourself. Amen. So we're here for you, and it's going to be there. All right. We'll get all the details up. Chef Hank, man, thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. Thanks a lot. Folks, you've been listening to another Our Town Community Show. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.